This is the Zoning Board of Appeals for October 19th. First thing we have are minutes, but we don't have any minutes.
We don't have any minutes.
So we will postpone them. And Ed, could you just make sure Patty emails us minutes the day of, or we have hard copy for the meeting? You know, because we're more disorganized than we should be, I think is the bottom line. The next item is a public hearing on an application filed by Jennifer and Timothy Collins to legalize a 6-foot fence in the front yard of their property located at 65 Walgrove Avenue. The fence in the front yard is 6 feet high, and it is of solid construction with no openings other than a hinged gate. Who will be heard on this application? For the record, if you go and use the mic and probably stand over there so that the camera can get you, and just state your name and address. You can take that mic out if that's easier, or whatever is easiest.
Jennifer Collins, 65 Walgrove Avenue, and my application is for the variance for the fence. I have a couple of notes. Should I start, or is this my first time?
Sure, just give us a quick rundown of what you're asking for.
Okay.
You know, I think we understand, but so that the people at large can understand it.
Okay, so we have a side yard next to our home, and
Right.
we have a fence which is enclosing a small portion of that side yard. The fence encloses a 35-foot section of back/side yard that was open to the sidewalk and the street. It's set back from the sidewalk and situated behind mature trees. It's a cedar tongue and groove fence. It's been stained to help blend in with the surrounding hedge and trees. It does not block the front of the house or block the view of the house, and it does not impact driver sightlines when turning from or onto Walgrove Avenue. So we would like a variance to keep the fence intact as it is. That's what we're applying for. It's a busy street, Walgrove, that gets a lot of vehicular traffic and pedestrian traffic going to and from the Children's Village, Springhurst Elementary, and it's a cut through to and from Stop and Shop. There's times when people enter our property through that area that is now enclosed, uninvited, just strangers. The fence provides privacy and security for our kids to play in the yard. So that's what I have so far.
Now, are you staying, or do you need this because you're selling the house?
Unfortunately, we're selling the home, and we would like the variance to obtain the continued certificate of occupancy.
Right, okay.
Did you build the fence, or did you move it in and it was there?
It went up maybe a year and a half ago. My husband put it up himself
I have, with a permit or without a permit?
without a permit.
I have a couple of questions for you.
Okay.
The building inspector considers it to be a front yard. The pictures, when I looked at the property, it is up the front of the house. Why do you not term it to be in the front of the house?
Well, I guess because it doesn't protrude in front of the home, it's really to the side of the home. If you're standing at the property looking out at Walgrove, it's to the
It's
left
fencing in the side yard.
Yeah.
Right, but if you look at it from the street view, which
Yes.
is what I looked at when I was driving past, it's the street view from the front as opposed
Correct.
Right.
to, so I understand why I was just wondering for the difference in opinion. The other piece is, why, when it was being built, was it not built at the permitted height and with the permitted amount of visibility through the fence?
Right, we didn't do it the right way. We were ignorant of what we needed to do, and we did it the wrong way.
And is there any reason why it can't be corrected?
Well, I suppose we could take the fence paneling down and do a permit and put a new fence in with pickets, or we could try and do a modification, but I think the concern, the reason why we put the fence there in the first place was to keep it private from the street, so she doesn't have a lot of kids. So I would, think that if you do the picket style, it's not going to provide the same level of privacy. For that is the big play area for all kids. But I suppose with some carpentry, we could modify the fence at a considerable expense, I think.
Thank you.
Thank you.
There appears to be a number of fences like this in your neighborhood, actually right across the street. I'm surprised you didn't provide photographs of those. And I'm wondering, Ed, do you know if those fences have received variances or anything about the history of those fences?
It is very difficult to track because prior to this most recent code change, we didn't require permits for fences. So they don't come with dates on them. So unless there's been an inspection or some sort of permit on the property that has a survey showing the fence, we really don't know when they were installed unless we catch the person putting them in or have those surveys,
Yeah.
like I said.
It's, and our code is 4 years old, 5 years old? Maybe longer than that, maybe
2006, I
6,
believe.
okay, oh, much longer, okay.
I don't recall us ever being presented in the last 2 decades with a variance for, actually I did one for excessive height, which we rejected. It was a fence that was built too high, and it was in
The
plan,
bank.
it was in a construction, and we
Right.
rejected it. And I've never seen one before for opacity.
I think there was one on Judson.
Oh, okay. I remember the one at the bank, Chase Bank, a few years back. They look bad. And the ones that are up on Wallgrove are
Particularly.
new. I mean, they look pretty, some of them look pretty new. There's 3 houses right in a row, right across the street from her, boom, boom, boom. And, but
They look awful.
they look
Yes.
awful, and I feel like it's bad for the neighborhood, frankly.
do
Just
too.
because there's a bad precedent that people are doing these things without permits, in my
Well, that's
opinion.
bad too.
Does it, right, that's bad in and of itself, but it's, I was looking to see if there was a precedent. Apparently, we're not aware of any precedent of approving these types of fences on that street. Yes, it's a busy street, I get all that, but I think we could, I'm less inclined to approve this because I feel like then we do start to just set a precedent for a walled street.
Right.
And apparently a lot of people feel like that's something they want to do there.
I'm in agreement with John.
Yeah, I am too. I mean, I think it's unfortunate for this applicant that, because there are a number of other worse offenders on the street, and, if those were before us, I would feel it even more strongly, but I do think it's just it's a very out of character for this village look to completely wall something in. It's more like it looks like the yard of a warehouse more than of a residence.
Yeah. And to be fair, you're not the worst offender, you're not, but I feel that if we approve this, then
Can we set a precedent?
they start lining up.
Yeah.
And they start lining up and it can get worse, so it's, and I think that Ed could help determine what's front yard and side yard, because this is a corner lot, and exactly when, well, actually, this doesn't turn the corner. This actually comes right up on the front, it ends on the front yard, and then it
Right.
continues on with hedges, I believe, right? And then the hedges continue around the corner, yes?
Yeah,
Yeah.
we consider anything forward to the street of the front plane of the house as the front yard, whether it's a side or, the
Yep.
side doesn't start until the back of the front plane of the house.
Right, behind the front plane.
And could I just ask, was there an event that triggered an inspection of this?
They requested a continuous certificate of occupancy,
yeah,
and
for
there
selling.
was one done a few years prior when they bought, so
Mhm.
that we knew at that point that the fence wasn't there before they bought.
Is there anything else you'd like to say?
I can tell you that I understand the viewpoints of setting precedent. I do feel that this is a particularly attractive fence, and we've done good job trying to make it blend in with the property. We have received many comments from our neighbors that they actually really like the fence. And it is such a small section. It's unfortunate, you know, given that it isn't bringing down the character of the neighborhood, I actually feel like this particular fence is enhancing it.
What would you guys feel about adding some landscaping? Because it is a more attractive fence.
I
You know-
agree with that. I mean,
You know, as a way around this,
right. You mean instead of the fence or in addition to the fence?
to screen the fence.
Screen the fence. I think that at the end of the day, you're selling the house, right? Is that what I understood?
Yes.
Okay,
But,
so-
I mean, you know, I'm sorry to interrupt you, I apologize.
Sorry?
You know, people who like to purchase the home, would like to keep it also. You know, they have a baby on the way and a 2-year-old child, so I want to work extra hard to try and keep it as nice as possible to them, because that's why we have it, we have 5 kids, so.
I would not be in favor of that, Peter.
Okay.
While this is a nicely done fence, once you set the precedent, it's much harder to argue that your fence is nicely done in the opinion of a zoning board and somebody else's fence is not nicely done. So therefore, we've approved this one, but we're not going to approve you. That becomes somewhat into the realm of arbitrary and capricious.
Right.
It's a value judgment. This is nice, this is not nice.
Yeah.
And I think what's allowed under the code would accomplish
Yes.
exactly the same thing, just in a way that doesn't have the same effect on people passing through the neighborhood. You know, I think what the code allows is essentially the same fence, but with open, you know, with allowing a little bit of light through. It would still be private, and it would still be, you know, protected from people walking through. So, I mean, I don't think, even though it's a, you know, I do appreciate the desire to keep it as it is, but I think it's not a, the burden of correcting it is not so severe that I think it outweighs the concerns about setting a bad precedent.
Is it, do you know, is it possible to do whatever needs to be done to the fence in order to make it conforming? Or have you determined that the fence just needs to be taken down and you would have to erect a new fence that conforms to the code?
I think it's just a matter of it's a tongue roof fence, so we'd have to get a carpenter out to tell us what they can do with it, because I'm not an expert on carpentry. So,
In my opinion, it would be, you could be able to take the bottom slats off and rip it down to a 4-foot height and put the bottom slats back on. Would be difficult, but could be done. To actually open up 40% of it would destroy the fence. It would be a total loss.
I think you have probably 4x4 or 6x6 posts that are supporting it. Probably use them and just get new panels and put the new panels in place.
Yeah.
I mean, it shouldn't be overly onerous. I know you want to sell it. I know maybe the buyer isn't counting on it or what have you, but I hope you understand what's going on across the street is not sensitive and not attractive and not good for the overall neighborhood. And unfortunately, you're being used as the first test case. And from my point of view, I think that it'd be a bad move for the village if we approve this.
I just have a question.
Sure.
This is a process question. Maybe it's just a question for Ed. Would we be allowed to? Will we need to go through the permit process again for rectifying the situation with the fence?
You have already applied for a permit. That's the process in which we got you here. So
Okay.
that permit would cover a legitimate, legal fence, yes.
Okay. Okay. Thank you.
So I move to close the hearing.
Second.
All in favor? Unanimous. Move to deny?
Second.
Second.
All in favor? Sorry.
Good luck.
close the meeting.
Yep. Close the meeting?
Move to close.
That was very apropos of our discussion.